Hey, what's up, ecosystem? Tonight's featured company interview is Penny Royston of Evilsizor and Associates, well known and respected in the trucking industry. And her father, Rex, the founder of the company, is going to be joining us in the live discussion panel, along with Diane of PFA Transportation Insurance and Surety Services. So buckle in, this is going to be a great show. Welcome back to Tuesday Nights Live on Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host. Welcome back to the show. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay at Auto Transport Intel. It feels so good to be back. It really does. I was out of the studio last week. We were live in Atlanta. And listen, man, I'm sorry for goofing up your night, Matt. It's Tuesday night, and I'm live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central every Tuesday night. And if this is your first time joining me, I think you're going to love this show tonight. Not only do we have Penny of Evilsizor and Associates, she's a channel sponsor right now, and I've also got Diane of PFA Transportation Insurance and Surety Services, another sponsor. And as you can see on the screen, I got Sun Country Trailers, they're a sponsor. Sun Country Trailers joined me and Ty and Derek of Car Delivery Network. We were live at AHA a week ago speaking at the Auto Haulers Association of America conference, and I want to thank Guy and Barry and all the guys there that made us feel so welcome. It was a great conference. You can actually check out the video live. Well, it's on demand now, but it was live a week ago, and you can check that out. And I know the audio's a little low. I'd consider this version 1.0 of the Auto Transport Intel production crew. Me and a few of us, we put it together. It was a lot of work, but it was really fun, gratifying, and getting the word out. And I know there are people watching right now that have probably never seen this show before. They actually hadn't really heard of it until a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to see you guys in the live chat. And I think we're going to have a great show. I see Penny's in the live chat. Penny is going to be the live interview in about 25 minutes. So listen, again, if this is your first time here, thanks for joining me on Tuesday Nights Live on Auto Transport Intel. This is the Car Hauling Business channel. Just finished up another logo that I added to the YouTube page. Literally, it was just uploading that about 30 minutes ago, which is really exciting. It's also on the Facebook page. So why is he talking about logos? Because Auto Transport Intel is a media and marketing company. This is not only a car hauling business channel, but I want to help everyone in the car hauling industry improve their business. Can I do it? I don't know, man. Actually, I think I can help several people. I can't help everybody, although Ty with CTS Transport Business Coaching, he's helping a lot of people too. And over time, we hope to reach everybody. Listen, if you don't need anything, business is good. That is awesome. Although we will caution you, business is changing, so we want to be your news source. So if you are sailing along and everything's good, you got the OEM money rolling in, the drivers are good, the systems are good, everything's good, then just stay tuned to Auto Transport Intel, the car hauling business channel, for news, updates, and if something comes along that throws you a curveball, we hope to have that information. Also, a week ago, I made friends with the folks at Freight Waves. I'm imagining I've got somebody from Freight Waves watching right now, so that is really cool. Maybe someone from OIDA is watching right now. Maybe somebody from the Big Five load boards is watching right now. It's kind of unknown, but it's out there. And you guys, many of you, I sent out an email today, an email reminder. It's kind of the first of its kind since when I launched a couple of years ago. And then, by the way, let me know if the audio and the video is okay. I always have to ask that. I'm not getting any notices, so I think we're okay. We got the Yeti mic throwing it down, which is great. Anyways, I sent out an email, and if you didn't get the email, let me know. And you left Hansen and Adkins time to move to the next step. Hey, man. Well, you know what? Listen, and there are many great companies, and there are other great companies. And really what's interesting is as this expands and grows, I'm starting to know people at other locations, and I get to see their point of view of what's going on. So, and I hope to bring everybody onto the channel for an interview. Listen, if you didn't get the email, let me know. If you want to be on the show, let me know. If you want to be a channel sponsor, let me know. Man, this is, and this, everything's good. Okay, well, thank you so much. And as you know, I got the race car logos. I've actually, so Market Trucking Answer said it looks like a race car. It is a race car, by the way. It is a race car rocket ship, and we have jettisoned to the front of the line. I got to tell you, I'm so excited. And if there is another car hauling business channel or somewhere you're getting your information, let me know, because I want to, everybody's welcome. Okay, I really want to try and cover all the bases. There's a lot to talk about, which is why, why is he still talking in the intro segment? Why doesn't he move on? All right, well, I'll tell you what. If this is your first time here, let me just say it. I want to welcome you. I welcomed you. I showed the car hauler, brought you in. I'm already 2 minutes late for the hello live chat, so we're going to go into that in a minute. I love to talk to the live chat. After that, we do industry news. We do the memes that nobody wants, and the funny stuff, and maybe the sad stuff. And if you got something that should be part of industry news, you let me know, because this is a weekly show. You want to be on the show? All right, Eddie, man, send me an email. All right, I'll tell you what. I mean it. autotransportintel@gmail.com. There you go. Send me an email. Send me your contact info. We'll talk. And it's harder for me to get back to folks like the same day. Sometimes it's next day or the day after. But please contact me. And as you guys know, I get back to everybody, or Ty does. One of the two. So Ty helps me manage the show. Kimberly's watching to make sure the stream is good. We got Penny. Penny is the owner of Evilsizor and Associates. She is our company interview. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. That's going to be great. We're going to spend 30 minutes or so with Penny, learning all about Evilsizor, and then we're going to go into the live panel with Rex, the founder of Evilsizor and Associates. Man, I'm excited to see him. Yeah. Oh, he's a fuel tax expert. Man, keep it going. This is going to be amazing. And then 2 weeks ago, channel sponsor PFA Transportation Insurance and Surety Services was on the show, and we're bringing Diane back tonight. Diane and Evilsizor, they know each other, and so this is going to be an information-packed show. If you've got questions about new carrier authority, broker authority, BOC-3, process agents, we're going to be talking about DOT, audit checklist. Actually, what's really cool, Evilsizor, since they've been in business so long, they have so many great free materials for you to review and learn from. So we're going to be sharing that stuff too. It's going to be awesome. So that's the show tonight. So, yeah, so let's take a look at the live chat here. Now, I got to back up because but I don't think it won't take me that long, Jay. You don't have that many people chatting and viewing, so it's okay. So listen, first off, M. Fields, J. Marcus from Exclusive Luxury Transport in the house. Thanks for the show. So helpful. Thanks for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I love doing this on Tuesday nights. It's fun for me now, and I'm trying to make the best show for you. So we're together in this thing. It is a community, and I thank you. Marcus from Exclusive Luxury Transport from tuning in. I really do. We got the one and only part of the core. Welcome back to the show, one and only. Drum roll for the one and only Jay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Bill Bad Apples is here with us again. What's up, Bill? Thanks for tuning in. Tim, LRT Transport LLC, is back with us. Thanks for tuning in, Tim. I do appreciate it. And, of course, Penny Royston is in the live chat. You know, if you're not too sure, you know, Penny will tell you. Now, she's done other, she's gone live on Facebook on Shaggy's Consulting and Training Group. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Shaggy's Consulting and Training Group. That is, Shaggy allowed me to join him in the booth at Matt's, the Mid-America Truck Show 2019. That was in March in Louisville, and I was in the booth there with him, and that is where I met Penny. We did a live interview right from the booth. It's on the channel. Just go to my YouTube channel. You can check that out. And so, as Penny will tell you, she's had some camera time, but if you haven't had any camera time and you're thinking, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, no problem. I walk you through it. It's part of what I enjoy doing. I'm part producer, part director, part actor, part writer. Man, I do it all. Hollywood J was my call sign for a while, so it's no problem. We'll take care of you. David, as David said, he left Hanson and Adkins. Time to move to the next step. Hello, Jay, my mentor. Well, thank you, David. That was really nice. And, you know, really behind the curtain, we've got Ty Thompson. If you need a phone call and you need advice right now, that is Ty of CTS. And hopefully he's here with us tonight. He should be. He's either here or he's on the phone. The guy's always on the phone. Eddie, good to see you guys. Hey, Penny. Hey, Diane. Hey, what's up, Eddie? Really appreciate you tuning in. And the enthusiasm. It is awesome. And the participation. You know, and I'm looking over here. I got my screen. That's where I'm looking. Viper. Oh, Vinny is with us. Hey, what's up, Vinny? Welcome back to the show, man. Vinny's been with me since the beginning. I appreciate it, Vinny. It means a lot. Sound is good. Sound is great. And let's see here. More from Penny and David. And Mark, Jay, yeah, back at home. I am back at home. I am back in the office. I am at this desk all day long. From, you know, I'm not an early riser because I stay up late. And I never know, man. I was entering email addresses and working on, you know, the branding on the page and talking to Penny and talking to Rex. And, man, there's just a million things going on. So I appreciate it. I'm back at the desk. This is home, and I appreciate that. Let's see here. Fuel tax and bookkeeping. Oh, cool. Very good. That'd be great, man. Yeah, that's a deep dive into fuel tax and bookkeeping. That'd be great. Perfect. Jeff from Faith and Freedom. What's up, Captain J? How's the tug life? What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. You know, appreciate it from time to time. Anytime you guys can make it is great. If you're out in the field like Matt from Anytime Towing, you know, you get busy and you're loading. But this is your home show, 2-hour show every Tuesday night. So, Jeff, thanks for tuning in. How's everything going for you? Are things kind of settling down? I know things got a little rocky and crazy recently, so hopefully, you know, back to business. But, you know, a driver's life is never easy. You guys know this. Every day is crazy. Every 5 minutes is crazy. Toe Piglet made it. What's up, Toe Piglet? So, we actually spoke. You know, as I said, I followed through, and me and his name's not Toe Piglet, but Toe Piglet nonetheless. Hey, what's going on? All right, so let's see. Those guys are talking. Oh, Truckify's with us. Truckify car hauling app. That's next week. That's right. The interview next week is going to be Truckify. We're going to learn about Truckify mobile app and everything he's doing over there. That is cool. So let's do it. Let's move into the industry news. We've already done the show lineup. And by the way, let's go ahead and if in case you haven't seen it yet, there is that's the video thumbnail for the show. So if you are on YouTube or, man, if you're in Google, because I do SEO, man, I go crazy on the SEO on these things. That's good to know, Jeff. Awesome. It's that this is the video thumbnail, and I worked in coordination with Penny and make sure that she likes it and that it works for the show. So listen, if you are a future channel sponsor, you're just sitting there thinking, man, I wonder which month I'm going to do. Man, this is going to be great. We're going to do the video thumbnail. We're going to organize with your logos. I'll help you get camera ready. And then, you know what? And here's the thing is, too, there's no logos on the industry news because the industry news gets a little crazy. Let's see what we got. Okay. So I try to keep the first frame is family. This is a family show, you know? Trucking is a family industry. This is a family show. So here we go. Here's some family information. FMCSA eyes June 7th to publish proposed changes to hours of service. Okay. Might be a couple asterisks in there somewhere, but that sounds like good news. All right, let's see what he's got next. Okay. U.S. Customs and Border Protection finds nearly $1 million in marijuana hidden in the trailer seating. Okay, great. So the roof is on fire. Okay, so already. All right, what else has he got? A hacker says that he has hacked into more than thousands of accounts belonging to users of GPS tracking apps, giving him the ability to monitor tens of thousands of vehicles and even turn off the engines for some of them while they're in motion. Okay, so, well, that's okay. That's overseas. That can't be too horrible. Could that happen here? Can they take control of my Tesla? You know. Here's more good news. Let's see here. Spotted lanternfly. Did you get your permit? If you're driving in Pennsylvania, you got to get your spotted lanternfly permit. So that's good. Okay, well, that's definitely some industry. That's going to count as industry news. Meanwhile, in Mississippi, the mosquitoes are carrying away the drivers. Okay, well, that's not good. That is not good. Could be worse. Could be worse. Oh, it could definitely be worse. Oh, man, that's super cool. Jeff gave me $20. You know what? Thank you for the super chat, Jeff. Let's move off of that. Here, let's go back to here. For Jeff, we're going to go back to the mosquito carrying the driver image. And you know what, Jeff? I really appreciate the super chat. It's great that there's been, man, you and Ty, I mean, you're friends now. Ty, it started as coaching, and now you're friends, and now your business is better. And, you know, that was many shows ago. I even got to wear your shirt on one of the shows, and you've been on the show. So thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks for your contribution. Thanks for your participation, and thanks for watching. It means so much, and it's awesome, dude. And that everything I receive, I put right back into the channel. All channel sponsorship money goes right back into the channel. YouTube money goes right back into the channel. It's all about the channel. Because, man, this community, now do you see what you gone and done did? You know, like, can we focus on the road? Instead of, you know, that's definitely texting, right? Because it is just flat out didn't see it. Oh, and then how about this one? Cut off a big rig, and you risk a 40-ton suppository. This is a family show, so drive like it. Don't make me show this stuff. This is terrible. Oh, here we go. Ford-Chevy dispute leaves 3 people shot at Virginia home. Oh my, that's a real news story. You seen that one? By the way, did we ever find out if he's a Ford or a Chevy fan? Anybody? Does anybody know? I don't know. I didn't read it. I got the story. That's all I needed. That's all I needed to know. Here we go. Not again. Truck driver gunned down by a motorist during road rage. Really? It's not enough to flip the bird or do whatever you got to do. You got to hunt him down with a gun? Jeez, bro. I mean, did he shoot while driving? I didn't read the story. Again, I didn't read the story because I didn't want to. That's just negative. So why are you sharing it, Jay? Because, well, you know what? You see these news stories. We're going to get to some good stuff. Oh, here's another one. Trucker loses life in Home Depot loading dock accident. But you got to be careful out there. And that's my point. I'll tell you what. Like I share that when the police officer side of the road, people don't move over a lane. Have you seen the way people drive? Yeah, you've seen the way people drive. It's terrible. How did this happen? How did this even happen? Oh, he thought it was shallow. You know what? Somebody get the soundtrack. What's the movie? In the shallow. He was listening to the movie soundtrack, shallow. I doubt it. I actually doubt it. By the way, a real trucker can hold it for 173 miles. Is that a fact? I'm not sure, but this is a family show, so you notice I didn't say anything. Okay. Wine boxes are great for dispensing various shop liquids and mixes. Just as long, I'd say, make sure you get the label off there. I like the box on the right looks good. The box on the left is a bit dicey, but good thinking. That is a good strategy. Okay, so it could always be worse. Out of service vehicle. Unserviceable by the Virginia State Police. You know, yeah, you don't want to see one of those. You really don't. Florida Skeeters at Mississippi Skeeter. What do we got here? Oh, man. This is some pretty funny. I do like industry news. It keeps it loose, keeps it kind of crazy, gets us ready for the main event. That's not good. That, as I said, it could always be worse. That is worse. I don't know. Which one's worse? This, out of service, or this, truck on the side? Truck over the rail. I'm gonna go with truck over the rail. That just blows. Yeah, I think that's worse. Okay, this is definitely worse. Okay, that's bad. That's the whole train. How you gonna get that upright? Man. So that's, at least that's not recent. Hopefully that claim is already settled by now. There's probably still a deposition somewhere, I'm imagining. Okay, could always be worse. When you're in the inspection bay and the driver in the bay next to you is kissing. That's bad. You don't want to see that. Like, that's gonna be bad because you're next. How about when the shipper gives you a laundry list of guidelines? Like, you don't know what you're doing. Ramp and skid angle must be no greater than 7 degrees. What do you get, a protractor? Vehicle must be backed onto the trailer, load on bottom, rear, soft tie down. 4 wheels, creeping speed at all times. Loading skid again must be 120 inches. Vehicle must be first unit delivered. Oh my gosh. Oh, and the seats are in the upright. Wow, thank goodness. Man, vehicle must be first unit delivered. I don't think you want to read that one. What if everybody said that? How about this? You know what? Here's what I think of your rules. I'm gonna load it on some logs and send it. Okay. Or I'm just gonna Frank Sinatra this thing. We're just gonna do it my way. I don't know. Can you do that? It doesn't matter. Just do it. When it's 10 degrees, the Cars Arrive app has 50 questions. Oh, man, that's pretty funny. Yeah, and I'm just going to say it. I've heard about that app having, like, too many, like, are there manuals and the CDs and are there sunglasses and driving gloves? Yeah. You know, right? And tray tables are stowed. Dude. Yeah, that's the truth. Okay, all right, this one is, I'm gonna give it a shot. This guy used a lifeline for this, equal to roughly 746 watts. What animal-based unit is used to measure the rate at which work is done? Is it horsepower, donkey strength, llama thrust, or zebra force? These sound like Fortnite names. And then you slap the roof of the car. This baby has the thrust of 340 llamas under the hood. I like the eyebrows. The eyebrows really sell it. You see this guy down here? Slap the roof of the car. This baby. It's pretty awesome. That is pretty good. Okay. How we doing on time? We're okay? 8:24, we're okay. Run Buggy is looking for car transporters to go from Ohio to California. Hey, now there's some industry news. Listen, you have a question about Run Buggy, you can talk to Mark, you can talk to Brian. Brian was at the Auto Haulers Association of America meeting. And, or was that Freightwaves? You know, they were mixed. I think he was at Freightwaves. Oh, he was at Freightwaves, and I saw him at the Auto Haulers meeting. Yeah, that was awesome. So listen, if you got a question, Run Buggy's expanding, and that's the kind of thing we're talking about. That's what this show is all about, and that's where the sponsorship information comes in. If you're thinking about, you've got new information for the rest of the industry, what better place to get that information out to everybody than on Auto Transport Intel? This is the car hauling channel. This is where we talk to the folks, carriers, brokers, shippers, lead generators, dispatchers. So, you know what? By the way, I've got a CTS business coaching question of the day. What in the world is a CTS business coaching question of the day? Well, I'll tell you what. Because CTS business coaching, let's do this. And we're activating. Oh, here we go. Where did I go? Where did Jay go? There we go. We got to activate. There we go. Now we're activated. Okay, I got to change the camera angle for what's coming up next. CTS business coaching question of the day. If you're a new car hauler and you've got car hauling questions, you want to go to ctsbusinesscoaching.com, talk to Ty, get your business coaching. All right, so what is the question of the day? Here we go. What are the 6 most common mistakes made when applying for interstate authority? 6 most common mistakes made when applying for interstate authority. So here's what we're going to do. After the break, we're going to come back. We're going to meet Penny Royston of Evilsizor and Associates. She's going to be live on the show. She's been in the chat. She's going to be live on the show, and we're going to find out the answer to the 6 most common mistakes when applying for interstate authority. Please stick around. Hey guys, Jay at Auto Transport Intel. Do you need to file your new authority? Motor carrier authority, broker authority? It's a lot of paperwork with the FMCSA and the USDOT. Get it done right the first time. Let Evilsizor and Associates help you. They're a full-service authority company. Go to evilsizor.co, evilsizor.com. They are the interstate trucking specialists. Just go to the website, scroll down, get your own authority. Click on File for Motor Carrier Authority or File for Broker Authority. Takes you through the package. Enter your information. It's not that hard. In fact, ATI 25. Enter coupon code ATI 25 to get $25 off. Okay? And also, after you file your authority, you're going to need your BOC-3. Do you know about your BOC-3? Don't mess around with the paperwork. Visit Evilsizor and Associates today, and don't forget your coupon code ATI25 to save $25 off when you file your authority. Thanks a lot. I'm Jay at Auto Transport Intel, and I hope this helps you. All right, cool. Thanks so much. Now we're back, and Penny, you're with us. You can hear me and see me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you great. This is great. All right, so thank you for joining me tonight. Guys, we have Penny Royston of Evilsizor and Associates. Now, you are the owner of Evilsizor?
I am, yes.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. This is
My
great.
pleasure.
All right, so anybody that doesn't know, please tell them what Evilsizor and Associates does.
Well, we help new carriers get into the business. So we do all the paperwork between the carrier and the FMCSA and state agencies if there's any involved. Usually there's a few state permits involved. And we handle all that nitty-gritty paperwork so you don't mess up on your application at the get-go.
That's right. So, okay, so let's dive into that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a lot to dive into. You know what I do when I want to learn about a company, right? Best thing to do is go to the website and see what's going on. So let's do that. All right, I'm going to pull up your website, and okay, so we go to. Let me move this down. Got to get situated here. Now let's do this too. We're gonna pull these logos out of the way. Okay, so. When we go to Evilsizor, it's evilsizor.com. It comes up as evilsizor.co.
Yeah, that's just technicalities.
Right. Exactly. Okay,
that's
I know.
Server issues.
And I point it out because that way it's not confusing, it's not a problem. It just says that up at the top. Okay. Right. All right. Yeah. So here we go. So we get to your website. Now you have a lot of information here.
I do.
where should somebody start? They go to evilsizor.com. Just go ahead and scroll down,
Just
right?
scroll down a little bit, right? You can search for any keyword, or if you're looking for authority, go ahead and scroll down and you can file for motor carrier or broker. We've got them split out in two different packages. Or if you've already done that, you need a BOC, just go to the left there and file a BOC.
Okay. Now, and by the way, I didn't know you had that search function. That's really cool. That's
Yeah, if you're just looking for something in particular, that helps.
That does help. Yeah, boy, all sites should have that. My site, I need that.
Come on,
I
let's get going.
I don't have a search. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so let's settle a debate. What in the heck is BOC3? And by the way, I noticed you wrote a blog post that says, "What in the heck is BOC3?" Right?
Yeah, people think it's more than it is. I just had someone call today and thought I was their insurance agent, even, because it says blanket company on the licensing and insurance page. So I call it the most misunderstood form on the planet because, it's just BOC3. It's a list of agents that we've secured. We have an agreement with all these agents throughout all the states that if they should get sued, God forbid, it does happen occasionally, or they're in trouble with the USDOT, we get the paperwork and then we get to serve it on to you.
So that's the thing this is a legal, it's kind of like a legal clarification, right?
Yes.
Like, because when, lawsuits aren't something we want to think about.
No, but they happen.
And they do, especially in an industry like trucking, where there's so much at stake, right? I would imagine any forms of logistics, whether it's rail, air, by ship,
Sure.
you've got people, and you've got thousands of dollars, millions of dollars of cargo, and those medical bills, that auto liability.
Yeah.
Right? So, we're talking, when it gets catastrophic, there's a lawsuit.
Just like that wreck on I-70 here in Denver just a few weeks ago. The guy came down out of the mountain and there was already a wreck at I-70 and he just kind of closed his eyes and went right through and killed 4 people and injured. There's 40 counts of vehicular homicide. And guess who is the process server on that case?
Evilsizor and Associates?
Yeah,
wow.
We're going to see all of those documents. It's terrifying me to see what's going to come in.
Wow. Now, okay, that's really interesting. So what does that, so explain to us, what does that mean, you're the process server?
So all the plaintiff's attorneys, if, they can choose to go through us or they can just go direct, but sure, they're going to probably go through us just to have that accountability. So they're going to send out their summons to one of our agents, probably me here in Colorado or Brenda down in Texas, since that's where they're based. And then we serve the paperwork back to this company. And then it's up to them to hire a lawyer and get some legal advice on how to handle this, because it's not going to be pretty.
So this is interesting in that you're not a legal organization, are you? You're not.
No.
So you're not an attorney at law. You're not a legal organization, but
Correct.
you're kind of like a mailbox for the.
Kinda, yeah. That's a good description.
That's really interesting.
We're the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
And yet, you have no stake in the lawsuit.
No.
You don't give legal advice.
No.
And the reason for this is, now the BOC-3, this is a legal requirement by the FMCSA, right?
Yes, it is. And it has been from day one.
Okay. And when you say day one, like
1980.
1980. Okay.
Dad could
I was going to go way back.
That,
I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, oh my God.
Before then. Dad was
800
up before
BC?
then? He's like, he's doing this.
Right.
So, Rex, it was before then.
That's what's cool. Rex knows. And we're going to talk more about that. Okay, so this is wild. I didn't even know. We didn't talk about this, but you have got my attention.
Okay.
Because how many companies can say they're in the middle of a major news/legal?
Terrifying.
This is think of how many people know about this case.
Oh, I was at the bank today and the guy asked me what I did for a living. So I told him and he goes, So do you know anything about the I-70 crash? And I was like, yeah, I'm the process server. I get to see all that paperwork.
So any plaintiff's attorney on be representing anybody who was injured
Right.
critically or anything, because if you
Anything, yeah.
suffered any damage, gosh, how many people that could
Oh,
be a couple hundred people.
and probably
And
the city of
businesses?
Lakewood. The city of Lakewood
Oh my
owns
gosh.
2 miles of I-70, and those this wreck was in those 2 miles. So probably the city of Lakewood and the county of Jefferson County, and maybe even Colorado might sue. I don't know. It remains to be seen. We'll just have to see.
And since we're curious, and because I know some people are curious, I'm curious too. Is that we're not going to get into semantics, but this driver worked for a trucking company,
Out of Houston.
right? He was not an independent owner operator, but he was a
No.
driver for a company, and
Right.
therefore, when the lawsuits come in from
Yeah.
folks that have been damaged, they're going to serve not only the driver,
Right.
right, but
But the
also the
company.
trucking company,
Right.
right? And then are there other folks they can name in that process?
Probably the insurance company.
And then
Part of that.
am I understanding that there are breaks at issue here? Is there a break
Uh,
issue
There
at
was a brake issue. There's footage from someone's dash cam that as he was coming
I
down the
saw that.
mountain, he missed like the last turn
Oh,
off, so he could go right into the sand.
oh
And I
no.
mean, the kid was 23 years old. He's a young kid. I just don't, I can't imagine he had enough experience to be in the mountains driving like that. So it
Right.
sounds like, I mean, I don't know. It's just what I'm speculating. It sounds like he was scared because he did say he closed his eyes once he got down the mountain and around that corner. That's a pretty tricky curve right there. I'm surprised he didn't dump
I was
over.
going to say it's
Oh,
amazing he
it's just
navigated the
horrible.
turn.
Yeah. And there was already an accident. It probably would have been fine. He would have slowed down if there wasn't an accident already there near Colorado Mills Mall.
It's too bad he made that turn in a way for, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, what? This
Oh,
is a, wow, what an intersection of craziness.
yeah.
Because he had the ability to get down the mountain, which, I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty
And that, I
impressive.
mean, I go down that all the time.
I don't
It's
want to
pretty
do that
steep,
in a
you
truck, in a
know?
runaway truck. Forget
No,
it. And you know
no.
what? It'd be hard to make one of those ramps to have that'd be tough. Could be tough. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And I just my thoughts. I mean, I could be totally off base, but since he was only 23, I just can't imagine he had enough experience to drive that truck down the mountain safely,
So,
especially with the
right.
trucks,
Maybe it
the
was just
brakes going out.
beyond his wheelhouse. And I tell you, I like
Yeah.
talking about this too because I didn't know. You wonder about the motives. We hear so many terrible stories.
Yeah.
I mean, so there you are, man. You are in the middle of all this, being the process server, and
Yeah.
wow. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of paperwork. So
It is. We haven't seen anything
wow,
coming yet.
right.
Sometimes it can take a
It
while.
does take a while.
It
I
could take
think
2 years.
that's what I was going to say. I think most lawsuits take about 2 years
Yeah.
because you got to get the depositions. First, you got to do the discovery. Then you got
Right.
to get the experts. Then you do the
Yeah.
depositions, and you got to get them. I mean, it's all boy the legal documents that
Yeah.
result from just
Oh, I imagine they'll be
oh,
like this.
it'll be and ultimately the trucking company getting sued they will need a room in their business to store all of the
Yeah.
documents.
I mean, sadly, they're done. The federal motor carriers already shut them down.
Yeah,
It's,
man, that
I
is
mean, the whole thing is
hardcore.
just, it's tragic and it's really
Gosh,
sad.
it
I
is
feel
sad.
sorry for everyone,
I do
the
too.
victims and the company. They didn't mean for that to happen. No one
No,
wants that to happen.
no, and that is not the kind of thing you can predict. Wow, it's really interesting because we are. I mean, here we're talking to not only car haulers, but there are trucking companies, and not only owner operators, but fleets.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Makes this right now. We're going to talk to Diane in the live panel. She's going to probably have something to say about what can you do to minimize this level of
Yeah.
exposure. I mean, it's so big. I don't know. This is a
Make
tough
sure
one.
your DQ files are in order and
Right.
train your drivers.
Right.
Especially,
And that's it.
the mountains here are dangerous to drive in. I don't even like coming out of that Eisenhower Tunnel going towards Breckenridge in a car, let alone a truck. And there is a runaway ramp right at the base of that hill, mountainside, and someone went up it the other day. Well, it's the day after that horrific crash in Lakewood. And you have to really be experienced and seasoned and know what you're doing when you're driving in the mountains.
Well, and in general, you make me think of, I know I've heard that driver recruitment is looking younger. You've seen the headline that they're what? Now you don't have to be 21. Did they pass that law?
I'm not sure.
But they were working on it. Like as long as you're 18, they'll
Yeah,
teach you
that's too
how
young.
to drive a moving
I
sledgehammer.
mean,
Oh my
that's my
gosh.
opinion. My opinion, that's too young.
I
These
say,
trucks are bullets.
yeah,
You know?
go work at Wendy's,
Yeah, get some
right?
experience. Work in the trucking company. Work up. Do some
Honestly,
local drives.
this is why I've never driven. I've driven cube trucks and like 5 tons and stuff like that. But I mean, this level of machine is a huge responsibility.
Yeah, it's big.
That's why the FMCSA requires the BOC-3 be on file,
It's all about safety.
right? So
You
you've
know,
got it's not just filing for your motor care authority, filing for your broker authority. Now we've really talked about BOC-3. I mean, that's got to be the most BOC-3 to
yeah,
ever hit live YouTube.
yeah. In this office too. I mean, we'll see somebody get served 4 or 5 times in the year, but nothing like 40 counts of vehicular homicide. This is just going to be incredible.
And have you ever, your office has never handled a case that big, been
Not
the
that big.
process server.
And we
And
have big companies,
I know I was going to
that we
say,
work
you've been in
with.
business 20 years,
30.
30 years. It's 30 now? I got to
Next
go
year is
update all the
30.
blogs now.
Next year is 30.
I was gonna say, so I was looking at your webpage and I saw, I'm doing the math, I'm thinking it's got to be like 29. Yeah,
It is,
it is
exactly.
29.
This
Yeah.
is 29. We started 1990 when my daughter Andrea was born, and now she helps me run the company.
Wow.
29.
I love a good family business more and more.
Yeah. That's what
I
we are.
I hope to do that later as well, as I expand, and that's really
Yeah.
really neat. I mean, because trucking is a family industry, so
It is.
you know,
That's how this nation was founded, on mom and pop shops.
and there's just like the dream of owning your own business and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You help folks achieve that dream in a way. I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
start up a trucking business, let's go
Yeah.
back to the website for a second because
Okay.
I talked more about BOC-3 than I did anything else. So let's go back to that.
It's
It's just
okay. Maybe people
BOC-3.
will understand now.
I love a good anagram, right? Everybody, I just love a good anagram. All
It's
right,
more than just filing a form.
it's very
Yeah,
serious.
it
And
really is.
so it's only $39
Right.
and you just file it once.
You file it once and it stays active as long as the authority is active. If the authority goes inactive, or you have a name change, or you transfer the authority, then you have to file it again.
Okay.
There are some
Okay.
companies out there that charge annual fees. We've just chosen not to because the Federal Motor Carrier does not require us to do anything on an annual basis. So we
Well,
don't charge for something we're not doing.
I saw that somewhere you had that listed, that beware of other companies that, and
Yeah.
we all see that. We all get we get some kind of marketing mail. I've gotten it for my domain, that a company will help me renew my domain, but it's not even the .com. It's like dot yaza. Well,
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
.yaza much. So yeah, so you got to watch out for that. And I mean, I appreciate that too. We like to point out what we're not doing to get more business.
And we do charge, when you get served, we do charge a $150 fee because we're out fees with these attorneys. A lot of our agents in different states are attorneys. So they charge us to serve these papers.
Oh,
And then we
sure.
have, postage. And so, that's just something that the carrier has to absorb.
And that's understandable. The form is $39, but if you
Right.
find yourself in a legal situation, there are going to be more legal fees.
Yeah.
And 125 is nothing compared to what the attorney charges.
Yeah, yeah. We have some really good attorneys and agents out there. Some don't, some do it out of the goodness of their heart, and boy, we really appreciate that. And then we have
Right.
others that do charge, likely so because
Well,
they're in business to make money too.
that's
So
right.
I respect that, but we just put everything in there in that terms of service so you can just kind of understand. It's like we're not trying to get you. The $150 doesn't go in our pocket. It helps, serve all this paperwork. It takes time. I've got a gal here, Tamara. She handles all of our summons, and it takes time out of her day, and it takes, postage and working with the agents that receive the documentation. Then we get a bill from them, and so and so I just charge that $150, and that's for the entire year. That's not an annual fee. That's just so, to help absorb the cost of all the paperwork and stuff that we're serving to these clients.
Well, I was just going to say, when you talk about managing paperwork, making sure paperwork is completely filled out, I mean, you got to be very organized,
We
right?
are. Yeah.
Detail oriented. It's no joke. When you go, that's why I tell like dispatchers, I've talked with dispatchers like, yeah, I'll just do the paperwork. I'm like, man, I don't know. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just look for the cars. Because if you are putting your neck on the line, that you got all the details and everything's accurate,
Right.
you better get money for that. That's a lot of work
It is. It
and a
is.
huge responsibility.
And there's some people, they get upset. They're like, well, why do I have to pay? And it's like, we just helped you with a lot of paperwork on our end. This is not, I wasn't the one that got in trouble. You're the
And
one getting sued.
and unfortunately, whether it's tax related or business related, forms related, it seems like every time you do a form, there's another form and another form, and you got all these forms. You got to do them in the right order. They got to
Right.
be accurate. They have to be timely. And
Yeah.
once it's filled out, you need to file it somewhere so you can find it again. Or put
Right.
it in the right folder. I'll bet you have incredible directories and folders and subdirectories,
We
right?
do.
You're
Yes.
disciplined.
We
Yeah.
we have a campaign that we run out of our CRM with tasks and follow-up tasks, to make sure that it was filed. We email it, we'll fax it, we'll mail it, and we'll send it tracked mail. I've learned in the last 30 years that you track everything.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Especially when it comes to process serving,
Yeah,
and then keeping track of the tracking. You've got to track the tracking,
we do. Yes.
right? And then here's another one. You go back to in car hauling. If somebody says, "What's the status?"
Yeah,
They're
you
not
gotta
kidding.
know.
You have to know,
Yeah.
like now. And if you don't have the status, boy, oh boy,
And
there's
we
a
have that. I had someone call the other day, or he sent me an email asking about certain carriers, and I had to look up all my information to prove that whatever he thought we did or didn't do was not accurate. So, I'm constantly, having to prove everything, and that's why we track, we timestamp, we keep copies. That's a lot of work in the background that people don't see, but that protects our carriers and us in the long
yeah.
run.
And not only, we'll just keep drawing this out because it's a big picture, and I like
Yes.
people to appreciate the big picture. Is
Yeah.
that not only do you have on the front end your customers and the depth there, but then on the
Right.
back end, all the agencies that are hitting you for information
Yeah.
and checking on you. I'm sure you probably interact with all kinds of companies.
Oh, so many different kinds. Insurance agents,
That's right.
attorneys,
Right.
carriers, brokers, you name it.
That's why so many people know your name.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
around a long time.
Yeah. That is
29
awesome.
years. I was
29 years.
12 when I started.
Wow. See, and you can't do that now. You can't start when you're 12. They come
Yeah,
down,
no,
there's a
I
then
couldn't then
you
either.
have to file a form for that. I want to show I want to do some of this is that we're going to show on your website, you've got
Mhm.
other areas where you can learn and I'll tell you what. So let's just look at this. New authority services.
Yeah.
You got a great website too. It's easy, but there's a
Thank
lot
you.
of information here.
Yeah.
And then you've got other areas relating to the federal versus the state, and then
Mhm.
this free downloads part. I like this a
Yeah.
lot. You click on free downloads, and you can get free information. These are PDFs, right?
Right.
And these PDFs, I mean, there's a lot of information here. I know I wrote the 20 steps to car hauling, and it's a blog post, gets a lot of hits, and I spent a lot of time on that. But I like how yours is even more concise. And you know what I really like too is this. Let's go to. Okay, so you've got these timelines you created.
Mhm. I'm a visual person.
Me too. These are
So that's
great.
why I've created a lot of this. It's just to make it simple because it can get complicated really fast. Too many agencies have their hands in the pot and people just don't understand. So throughout my experience in the last 30 years, I've compiled and created all of these, this timeline and the checklist just to make things simple.
And so let's see. So this is the carrier application timeline, right?
Yes,
Okay. So what we're doing here is okay. So day one, file your BOC-3 and file your MC Authority application.
right.
Day two,
That's
file your UCR. What's
And that's just a recommendation just to get it out of the way.
okay?
It'll take a day or two before your DOT number will land in the UCR database, but right in there, just get it done out of the gate. That way you don't forget about it.
And anybody listening that if they don't know what UCR is, can you expand on what UCR is?
UCR is a permit that you have to file with the state. If you've been around a long time in trucking, it began as a bingo card. Now I'm dating myself.
Bingo card.
It was a bingo card. It looked like a card. I have some in my basement somewhere.
Wow.
And you would have to write down, either get a sticker for certain states, or Missouri would give you a number. I still remember all this crazy stuff. And then it morphed into single state registration, where you
Cab
would have to
cards.
pay per truck per state. So I
Yeah.
remember Texas based, if you wanted to run all 50 state or all 48 states, then it was like $210.95. So I still remember that fee for some
Wow.
reason.
Right.
And now it's funny when people complain because now it's much cheaper because it's just a blanket. And it's like, oh man, you don't even know what it was back in the 90s. It was expensive.
Well, I was gonna say when I started dispatching, there were cab cards. Now that was
That's different.
okay. That's different.
Yeah,
So
that's tied to the license
you
plates.
know what's great, and so that's the thing. This gets back into the complexity of getting set up because when
Yes,
you go
that's
through the list, there's a lot here. Let's go back to that list. I want to take a look at that.
okay. Yeah. Oh, and
So
you know what the purpose of UCR is now?
no,
You get to pay money to train these DOT agents.
really,
That's what they use the money for.
that feels good.
Before, it was just getting your authority on file with the state. Well, now they're using that money to train DOT agents, which I guess is a good thing, but it's kind of ironic that you're training them.
At the Auto Haulers Association of America meeting, I got to meet some folks that are, DOT authority, training, guideline advisors. Talking to them was really actually helpful and informative. I think that and I've seen also on Facebook in the Indiana State Police, Brent Hoover, he would interact on Facebook. I think in general, it'd be great to have more interaction with DOT officers.
Yeah.
If the powers that be would allow that to happen more, like in a live situation, I think that would help us all. Because when you say, just as you just pointed out, the DOT officers, I was already getting kind of tense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
And
intense.
I've reached out to the Colorado DOT for things like that, and the government really doesn't like to interact with us
I know.
on a private basis, which, I guess it shows favoritism. I don't know. But I think it could really be helpful if we could all talk, you just have a discussion. not try to convince somebody, but just a discussion.
Well, and I think, like, honestly, as I was telling them, I don't do like a call-in show. People can live chat, but
Sure.
nobody's going to get like, this isn't going to be a dog pile situation. This isn't a gotcha show, So if we could assure that, you're not going to have to, and if you don't want to answer, just say no comment. I don't know. That works in other places, and
Right.
sometimes you can't answer. But
Right.
it would be great to have more of an interaction with DOT on a regular basis rather than just, DOT blitz announcements. Those are
Right.
scary. In fact, we got another one coming up. Don't drive June 4th through 7th or something like that. I mean,
Oh,
you
is that
can,
one of, yeah.
but they're announcing when it is and they're announcing what they're looking for. And there's, or how about this on Facebook when I see somebody post, watch the Savannah scales. They're working hard.
Ha ha. Yeah.
Oh man.
At least the information's out there and you've been warned.
That way the guy that says go around isn't like, dog piled. So
Right.
he's just saying they're working hard. So
Yeah.
all right. So this is a carrier application timeline. Let's look at, you've got another one here. Here's a broker application timeline.
Yeah, it's a little different because they don't have safety compliance issues to put in place. It's pretty much just get your account set up, file your BOC. They still have to file their UCR. It's just like trucking, file your bond or insurance 2 weeks later. And then about it's approximately day 22. Don't hold me to that on the day because it depends on when everything is filed. Then the authority is granted and you're ready to operate. But you cannot operate before the federal government activates your authority. It's just not possible.
And I've seen that question before. And in fact, I think some people book loads before they have their authority.
Yeah,
now,
that's not cool.
why brokers check. That's why, like, on Central Dispatch, you have to have your MC Authority certificate. If you don't be booking loads.
Right. And you can look on Safer and see if they're active too, which I highly recommend. Take a look.
But I've definitely booked loads without anybody checking any of our docs. And they were, just going by the fact that I sound trustworthy.
That's scary. You should not do that.
do not just go with Jay sounding trustworthy. That's what you're saying?
Look it up, all the information is public information.
That is great.
Wow, that's scary.
This is great. So let's do this. I also want to say, because I know we have a few more minutes, and then we're going to come back with Rex. But before I leave that, some of the other, here's what I got to do. I said the question of the day that we would answer, Control L, here we go. I just learned we were talking about Adobe Reader. So if you're in Adobe Reader and you hit Control L, it does a full screen view. Pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So okay, there we go. So let's get rid of common mistakes when applying for your interstate authority. What are the 6 common mistakes? All right, here's the delivery because I made the promise. Number 1, business name and type of entity not properly set up with your state.
Yeah, so many people just tack LLC on the end of their name and don't even file it with the state.
Oh, wow.
No, you can't do that. You have to file it with the Secretary of State.
Right.
And service.
And what's cool is you point out the mistake and then you say, you go to LegalZoom, right?
Yeah. If you don't know how to do it, I use LegalZoom. I'm not afraid to say that I did.
Yeah. I used my accountant. I went through my accountant because I got to spend the time, but I know LegalZoom is a great site.
It is. If you need help, they're there. That's great.
Cool. That's cool. All right, number 2, using a personal Social Security number instead of an EIN. You see that all the time, don't you?
Don't do that because that information goes everywhere. It really does. It is not sacred. It doesn't stay in the confines of the government. It is everywhere.
And I'll tell you this. I like this. Here's a plus for Central Dispatch. If you upload a W-9 with your social, they won't use it because they're not going to publish that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
Don't
cool.
do that.
Yeah, don't use your social. Number 3, unable to secure proper insurance in a timely manner. Oh, causing the FMCSA to dismiss the application. Yeah, you've gotta
Yeah.
have insurance.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole piece to this whole puzzle. That's the most important piece to the puzzle is
As
insurance.
as many people will tell you, which is why when shopping for insurance, well, that's a whole nother show.
Exactly.
That is okay. All right,
Whew.
no, number 4, not knowing the steps it takes before you're legal to operate across state lines. Tell me more about this, because
Well,
yeah,
yeah, that's where my checklist comes into place. A lot of times they get their authority and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go, not doing their homework, not getting their DQ file in place, not getting their ELD, just doing, not getting everything in place safety wise. They just go, it's like, oh, I have this authority now I can go. And then they get stopped at the port of entry and then they're just like puzzled. And it's like, no, 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 no. You've got to know what it takes. And there's so many pieces. One does not override the other. You got to have all of them. All of the agencies are in the pot.
you just mentioned a term, and in case folks, somebody listening doesn't know what a port of entry is, you're not talking about the port at the ocean, right?
No, we're talking going state to state on that state line.
That's right. So when you cross a state line, I mean, you're entering another legal entity.
That's right. And
And
they have their own set of rules.
isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, we might be kind of one federally, but we are not one state-wise.
As anyone knows, when you dive into state versus legal on any topic,
Yeah,
there can be an overlap, but it certainly isn't the same most of the
right.
time. So, yep. So you've got to check what states you're going to go into before you go into them. Which I mean, if it wasn't hard enough, I think that adds more further complication and need for sound advice, right?
Right.
Because we think we could just drive. I
I
mean,
know.
actually, we
Yeah.
can because we're just people. But if you're right, it's when you have motor carrier authority,
Commercial, yeah.
and
Yeah,
this gets
commercial truck
into
driver.
right, and this gets into the interstate commerce, right?
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
does.
Okay, and this is a legal issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, number 5, forgetting to file the required forms to activate the authority.
Yeah, that happens.
So what are those? It says here there are 2 filings that must be made before the FMCSA will grant your authority: the BOC-3
Yeah.
and liability insurance or a surety bond. So
Right.
liability insurance for the carrier, surety bond for the broker, which again it gets into proper insurance.
Correct.
Okay, so and I mean it's as simple as that, but really this gets into the big one, the number 3, insurance.
Oh, big. Yeah.
Okay,
You can't live without insurance.
so you could, in fact, do you ever see someone make the mistake they have insurance but they didn't file the form?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. And so we try to work with the insurance agent. It's like, please, you have to file this electronically. Don't send me a copy. I don't want it. You have to work with the government and get that filed electronically.
Okay, all right. That's really good information. I mean, because right, that can have somebody out there. Maybe somebody out there did that.
Yeah.
Entering the states without the proper credentials. All right, what kind of credentials we talk? Wow, there's a whole list. Oh
Yeah,
no.
there are. I mean, UCR, that should be done day 2 or 3. IFTA, if your truck is over 26,000 pounds, gross vehicle weight, then you need to apply for IFTA as well as your IRP tags. If you go through Kentucky, New Mexico, New York, or Oregon, they have an additional layer of tax. It doesn't replace IFTA, but it's in addition to. So you don't want to go see Aunt Martha that weekend, just traveling your truck around, get to where you're going and get out because you're paying per mile. And it can be anywhere from 4 cents to 16 cents a mile, depending on what state you're traveling through. Oregon's expensive. If you're not going through Oregon, don't get it.
I have heard that about Oregon. Oregon always comes up. You hear Kentucky, New Mexico, and Oregon a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty. Oregon, we don't do a whole lot of work with, but Kentucky, that you got I-75 and I-71 going up and down.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
avoid it. New Mexico, you know, I-40, I-10 goes through there. So you have to
Right.
pay a mileage tax. And then New York has that bumper sticker, the HUT sticker, and you pay, going through New York. But you don't have to pay for toll miles, just non-toll miles going through New York. So make sure here's a little pro tip, make sure your ELD splits out toll miles versus non-toll so you're not paying too much for New York HUT.
Make sure your ELD splits out toll miles versus non-toll miles.
Yeah, I have been
Wow.
begging companies out there to do that. And they
Wow.
kind of look at me cross-eyed a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm serious. This is a thing.
Wow, that's really interesting. I've never heard anyone mention that before, so I'll
Mhm.
try to put that in the Rolodex and see if I
Yeah,
can find some relevance for it one day because that is so specific. And are you
yeah,
talking about just New York because of that
yes,
sticker?
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about parameters.
So that's a
Man.
whole nother show talking about fuel tax.
Right now there's a coder working on the app for the LD and he just freaked out. It's like, "Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah.
no
I mean,
way.
it's
I
a
just
thing.
wrote that code."
Save these people some money, please.
Yeah, no. And for the carrier, I'm sure that could be significant.
It can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you don't
Wow.
want to pay. They're paying out the nose anyway. They don't need to pay anymore.
No, they really are. Well, listen, that was, man, going down the 6 steps there. Listen, if there's somebody out there and you want a copy of this, that's a free download at
Yeah, download it.
evilsizor.com. You got the spelling right there, evilsizor.com. So, Penny, when we come back after the break, we're going to take a quick break and
Okay.
we're going to come back. We're going to be joined by your dad, Rex. And I know he's excited to be live
He
on
is.
YouTube
He's
here
still over there.
on Auto Transport Intel. We'll be right back. Please stick around.
Okay. Thanks.
Maybe the most important thing to think about is what's going to destroy you, and that is where auto liability comes in. Some may argue that the freight broker is not responsible, but we see those claims happening, and there is some reality that it's there to protect, it's there to provide defense, and it's there to pay on their behalf, and that's keeping some of them alive, keeping them in business. The other part of your question, where's a good bang for the buck? One of the things that we run into a lot is just talking about contracts. And in a future episode, we'll cover contracts and contractual requirements. But I think a lot of freight brokers are frustrated with juggling the contractual issue, but also spending a lot of time, wasted time, on little claims that maybe arise out of the cargo side, and yet some of those can become significant. So bang for the buck. A lot of our customers are talking to us about cargo. There's special coverage forms, a variety of them, and that's what we hear ourselves finding to be a critical thing that we can help them, gives them that bang for the buck that you're talking about.
When it comes to creating quality car haulers, precise engineering and expert manufacturing is key. Since 1986, Sun Country Trailers has specialized in manufacturing industrial-strength commercial haulers to fit every need. Each Sun Country Trailer car hauler is built with hand-cut steel and precision-cut parts for consistency and craftsmanship you can rely on. Once built, each hauler is sandblasted and given a rich powder coat finish, after which the hydraulics and wiring are expertly installed. Before leaving our manufacturing facility, each car hauler undergoes a stringent inspection, using a checklist and build sheet to ensure premier quality results. Need something unique? Choose among our wide range of upgrade options for a versatile car hauler that meets your precise needs. Our experienced service department is able to help you with any repairs, maintenance, and replacement parts your Sun Country trailer may need. And because we stand by our industry-leading quality, each Sun Country trailer is backed by a 1-year warranty on both the structure and all non-wearable parts. Learn more online at suncountrytrailers.com or call us today at 866-887-2453.
Dad, say
Okay,
something.
welcome back to the show. Okay, so this is great. We're here. We've got. Okay, let me get the left my graphics on the screen there. Okay, we're back. We've got Penny at Evilsizor. She's been with us for a half hour, and now we are back with. We've got her dad, Rex, Evilsizor, founder of Evilsizor and Associates. Wow, this is amazing. And joining us, she was here 2 weeks ago. We've got Diane Yeschenko of PFA Transportation Insurance and Surety Services. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear Dad? Dad, say something.
Can't hear him yet. We could see him, but
Okay.
we can't hear him, and that's okay. That's okay, so go ahead and check that out.
Okay.
We're good. Nah, check it out. Yeah, there you go. So what's cool is, if you are just joining us, is that we've got, and you know what? How many times have you guys seen me with technical issues?
Can you hear us now?
Tons of time. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Fixed.
Yeah, great.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now. I've been through so many technical issues. This audience has been so nice. In fact, I think right now, I don't think my words match the audio. My audio's doing something crazy right now. And that's okay, that happens too. So, Rex, welcome to the show. Please tell us more about why you started Evilsizor and Associates.
All right. Let me back up to one thing that Penny said there earlier about the BOC-3 when she said day one. When I started working for the Interstate Commerce Commission, the BOC actually stands for Bureau of Compliance. I was in the Bureau of Compliance. The number three, BOC-3, is form number 3. And I don't remember what the first 2 forms were or the ones after that, but that's actually what it was. I was in the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement most of the time. So we helped set up the regulations.
You know what is really, thank you for that clarification, because it reminds me of, it's almost like, and I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I do that, but it's like the batch 48 of the single batch bourbon whiskey that turned out perfect. Sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
That's
Funny
great.
how it went back to whiskey.
Right? Oh. Bureau of Compliance. And where was where were you?
That's what the BOC stands for.
Okay, where were you
The
when
Interstate Commerce Commission was broken down into separate bureaus. And I happened to be in the BOC bureau at one time. And then I ended up in the BIE, which is Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement. And that's the work that I did.
Where were you based when you did this?
All right, let me back up here a little.
Awesome.
When I started transportation, believe it or not, it was the year 1958. So I've been in the business for a few years. And when I answered the ad to get a transportation job, they asked me if I was a telegraph or teletype operator. And I said, no, sir, but I can learn. They hired me on the spot. And it went from there. I was at one time a telegraph operator, teletype, and before long, a few years later, I was running the Cincinnati division of the New York Central Railroad. And the get the years straight. In 1967, the DOT started. They came over. Some of their people came over to where I was agent for Penn Central Railroad at the time, Dayton, Ohio, and wanted to know if I would go to work for them in Columbus, Ohio, for the USDOT. And I did. I said, no, I'm not really interested in it. They wanted people that they could hire who was experienced. One of our trainmen went over there, and he started that day. A few years later, yes, I went to work for the Interstate Commerce Commission. When they called and wanted to know if I would come to work for them, and I filled out the form to go, they had 3 openings, one in Chicago, one in Des Moines, Iowa, and one in Billings, Montana. I selected Des Moines, Iowa, because Des Moines was more likely like Springfield, Ohio area where I grew up, farm country, and I'd been to Chicago many times working for the railroad, and I knew I didn't want to go there, and Billings just seemed like it was too far away. But yeah, I've been in business. This was my 63 years, if you want to count them all, in transportation. Basically, that's all I've done, and I've enjoyed all of it.
Wow.
That is
It's been a while, yeah.
That's a great background.
Now, where the changes came, maybe you're aware of 1980, which was the Motor Carrier Act of 1980. The railroad had a similar law at the time, and it got rid of common carriers. People today have maybe no idea what a common carrier is. But before 1980, common carriers, everything came out of a tariff. Everything. If you wanted to know what the rate was from here to there, get it out of a tariff. The tariff was on file at the Interstate Commerce Commission. After 1980, that disappeared, and contract carriers came into being. Really. So what happened with contract carriers? You can now enter into a written contract with motor carriers, and railroads also enter into a contract carrier. Now, at the time when I was working for the Interstate Commerce Commission, we regulated all surface transportation, subsurface transportation, which is pipeline, and we also regulated intercoastal waterways throughout the United States. And one of the things that I find today that people are not aware of is just what is interstate transportation. All right, let me give you a couple of examples. When I say surface, we're talking railroad and motor carrier. On the south side of Denver, railroad comes in there. They have automobiles to unload. After they unload them, trucks come in, pick them up, and take them to anywhere else in the state. They pick them up in south side of Denver, and they deliver them points in Colorado. That is furtherance of interstate transportation. That is, they must have interstate authority. Tell you another one. Subsurface, fuel oil comes into Denver, underground. Trucks pick it up and take the fuel oil everywhere in the state of Colorado. They don't leave the state. That is furtherance of interstate transportation. Tell you one more. It's called freight forwarders. So many people apply for freight forwarder authority, and I don't think they have any idea what it is. But freight forwarder authority is nothing more or less than warehousing. So if they apply for freight forwarder authority and they say, yeah, we're going to use our truck, well, they can only use their vehicle, their truck, in the commercial zone. If they go outside of the commercial zone, then they have to, and they're going to another point in the state, they have to have interstate authority because it's furtherance of interstate transportation.
And even though you're still in the state of Colorado,
yes,
it's interstate and not intrastate?
Exactly.
Correct. It's all about the commodity, not the truck.
Wow. Because the commodity originated outside the state?
Yes.
It did.
And
where did the fuel come from? It comes from in the ground. It comes from another state. And where the railroad, it unloads, it comes into South Denver, and you can watch it down there unloading on all these vehicles, and a truck picks them up. Now, why is that important? If there's an accident, the insurance is what's important.
You better be covered.
When the Interstate Commerce Commission, when the United States Department of Transportation, USDOT, took over, they said they were not going to abide by any of the ICC rules. And I thought, wow, why not? They're still there. They're still in the 49 CFR. That's 49 Code of Federal Regulations.
Right.
The regulations are still there. Now, I would say about 90% of all the movement within each state is furtherance of interstate transportation.
Furtherance of.
Furtherance of.
Yes.
Definitely. If drivers would look at some of the where it originally come from, yes. Now, shipments coming from Mexico, they come to the border. That's okay. If they pick them up at the border and move them to any other point within the same state, that's furtherance of interstate transportation. The ships come into Houston, for example. They unload them, and they take them anywhere within the state of Texas. That's furtherance of interstate transportation. The Interstate Commerce Commission regulated all of these, and these are what's pulled forward into the United States Department of Transportation. That's it.
Wow.
And having the right insurance is what's the most important. And have it on file. It must be on file.
Tell me more then about, this is fascinating, because I honestly would have thought that if you picked up a car in San Antonio and you took it to Houston, that is intrastate. But it's furtherance because the car was made somewhere else, obviously.
No, not where. Okay, you said pick up the car. Is it a used car?
Thank you. In this example, it is a used car.
Right. It's sitting on a car lot there.
Yes.
Yes. That's a separate move.
So that's intrastate because it's a separate
That would
move.
be intra. Yes, wholly within.
Okay, so then in the interstate furtherance of, it's still in transport from its original destination. Is that correct? Right. Interesting. Wow. Nobody talks about this. This is a first.
And so many people are still getting authority with freight. They give an FF number. That's freight forwarding. And what that it can be it can be confusing. There's no doubt. But that is furtherance of interstate. They put it in a warehouse and move it out of the warehouse. But where did it originally come from?
But so if it gets to the warehouse and sits, does it become? It
sits because they're gonna assemble it with other shipments, put them all together, and maybe take it somewhere else out of state.
How about
within the state, maybe?
How about this? How about it comes on a big ship, a couple hundred cars, comes on a ship over the ocean, reaches the port in Georgia, gets unloaded. It's sitting in a lot for a month.
Anywhere it goes, it's interstate. Anywhere.
So that's
the state of Georgia.
So if a car hauler picks up at the lot at the port in Georgia and takes it in Georgia, that's intrastate.
Interstate.
That's interstate. This is complicated.
Anything comes from the port.
How does if somebody needs to verify if something is interstate or intrastate, what do they do? Call you?
I would ask the question, where did it come from?
Contact the ICC?
Car with an automobile, you're going to know. Because, well, I go back a long ways. Detroit was the main place years ago. That's where they built them. And anything out of Detroit, we know it was built there. Foreign cars, they come in on the ship. And that's a foreign. That's foreign. They were made overseas somewhere, and then they come into the ship channel, unload them, and it doesn't matter where they take it. It's furtherance of interstate transportation.
Okay.
Furtherance.
Now this is important.
Magic word.
And this is, I'm imagining one of the more important reasons is for taxes.
Well, in my opinion, it's insurance, making sure they have the proper insurance.
Okay.
Because if they had an accident and they were intrastate, moving an interstate shipment, that's going to go back. Oh my God, that's not good at all. Nope.
And as you say that, I'm imagining the carrier that now has the problem is thinking, I picked it up down the street. How can this be interstate?
I would like to add one thing to what we're saying.
Yeah.
After we moved here, I called the USDOT and wanted to ask a question, but their answering machine came on. And when I got a chance to actually talk to the person, I told them their answering machine had the wrong message because it said exactly that. If you pick it up in Colorado, deliver it in Colorado, it was intrastate, and that's not true. And they changed it. They changed their. I don't know if it was me calling or they did find out they were wrong.
I know I don't have that power. Wow. That is amazing.
Yes.
You know, just hearing, I mean, the level of clarification. No wonder you created Evilsizor and Associates. So at what point did you decide I'm setting up my own shop. I've got the information.
Why did I name it Evilsizor?
No, when? No, and what? Tell me
Actually,
why. Yeah, why?
All right, the second Tuesday in October 1990, I was asked if I would like to retire from the Interstate Commerce Commission. I accepted it. They gave me 3 days to get out. They wanted me gone by Friday. So I was gone by Friday. I still have my credentials here in the office. Penny has them now. I was supposed to turn them in, but I didn't have time. But on the following Monday, Penny and I went over to Irving, Texas, and we got our first client. People knew me out there because I had run up and down the Central Time Zone. They knew my name. They couldn't pronounce it, but they knew Rex. But so anyway, so we kept the name Evilsizor. Penny may have helped me get that years ago, helped that set up. But we've been together ever since 1990, working side by side together and so forth. Now she owns it full. She owns it all. But I help her. She calls once in a while. Another thing, we are the only two people in an office that we are practitioners. If you don't know if you ever heard of them, but we took a test years ago. I took one in early 1990 to be a practitioner. Actually, I could go to court with you if the problem was transportation. I still have that license. Penny took the test later, and she's also one.
So a practitioner has legal ability to appear in a courtroom?
We could take you to court if the problem is transportation.
That's great.
Anything else, no. But yes, transportation.
Only in transportation. So a practitioner has a specific pedigree to an industry?
Right.
Okay. That's awesome.
It's not recognized much anymore, but that's the way it used to be.
That's impressive.
That's great. Wow. Okay, wow. So you had 3 days to get out, and you knew. Did you already have this plan, or
No, I showed up for work that Tuesday morning, and my boss came out and he says Washington wants to talk to you. I said, all right. So I said they want to know if I would be willing to be transferred to St. Louis, Missouri, and I said I don't want to go to St. Louis. I've been there, but I don't want to move there as far as the job is concerned. Well, would you like to retire then? So I called my wife and I said, we need to have lunch together today because they want me to go to St. Louis. I really told her like in a joke way. She says, what's going on? And I says, well, I have a chance to retire and I think I'm going to take it. I could not turn them down for what they offered. No, I couldn't turn it down. Nope. But I've been in transportation since 1958.
Wow. Okay, so there it is. So you're in. You see the doorway, and you say, "I'm taking it." And I'm. Do you come up with a business idea at that time?
Probably. Yeah, it had to have been within those 3 days or after that. But Penny went with me over to Irving, and we got our first client on the very first day.
That's awesome.
It is.
To do what? And what was your service to this client? What was your service offer?
Well, it was over there at the time. It had to do with, I think, detention charges. That part of it has totally gone away anymore. But it used to be demurrage for railroad, detention for trucking companies. They had to charge if the vehicle was going to sit so long or something. They ordered it and didn't use it, or ordered it and took them 4 days to load. But reasons have changed through the years. Even from the day I started out. When I started out railroading in 1958, our biggest competitor was the United States Post Office.
In 1958?
Yes. Because LTL, less than truckload, LCL, less than carload.
Right. LTL.
Everything was totally regulated by the Interstate Commerce back then, and it was hard to even get authority then, because your authority at that time would only go from here to there and not back and not come back. It could only be one way, and the commodity we had to know, or the interstate commerce at that time had to know what the commodity was, and that's all you could transport from one location to another and go back empty.
Wow, that's quite a lockdown.
Yes, that was
Sheesh.
one of the reasons the Interstate Commerce Commission was abolished. But the main reason it was abolished, it was the oldest regulatory body in the United States.
What was the purpose of creating such strict guidelines for transportation?
Railroads. It started out in railroading.
Are you saying, was this a competitive move on the behalf of railroads?
In the beginning, well, the Interstate Commerce Commission started out in 1887, and the basic means of transportation at the time was railroads.
Mm-hmm.
So to have fair rates for every railroad had to turn in, and trucking companies later had to turn in their rates, what they was going to charge, $1.20 from here to there, dollar whatever it was.
Okay.
And it had to be on file at the Interstate Commerce.
Okay.
And that disappeared in 1980.
Well, and wasn't that because of the anti-competitive pricing tactics that happened early on in the Industrial Revolution? You had a lot of, like, J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller, right? Trying to set up private rate rings and whatnot, which is what people still think is happening
I don't remember those.
today. Okay, that's fair.
What it was rate discrimination. We would put a shipper would call and say, I need a boxcar, for example.
Okay.
Well, the train master or superintendent would move it. We wanted two over here at the other elevator because that would give us more money. So we were very discriminatory at the time. We gave it more than one shipper, then we gave it to another because we wanted to make some money.
Oh, well, and that's free enterprise. That's American commerce right there. And by the way, it's interesting. Listen to this. We think we got it tough now. Gosh, that sounds tough.
Yeah, and what really broke it all up was a case that happened in not Arkansas, Nebraska,
Okay.
Omaha. It was a case of a trucker coming in wanting to transport yak fat.
It happens all the time.
Yak fat. There was no such thing then, and there's really no such thing now. But it went through. They had the agree. They all met, and the company that put that yak fat in, I think, is still in Omaha area even today, or the company is. But that's where they started the Interstate Commerce Commission to go down the tube.
There should be an expression for that. Well, it's always that yak fat. I don't know.
Oh my God! Yes. Anyway,
That is great. Wow.
I've attended some of those meetings in the past, or the hearings with the attorneys, and someone would say, "Yes, I have that. I do that work now," so they would not give the trucking company the authority that they wanted. But it changed, and one reason I wanted to get my practitioner's license is at one time to practice or to turn in applications to the Interstate Commerce. In order to get authority, you had to be an attorney or practitioner.
Right.
Nobody else, they would
why
not accept anybody else.
That's why everybody's applications are messed up because they're doing it themselves.
Right.
So in this, so you were mentioned. So in 1980, this is when. What was the climate like? Why this shift in transportation regulation and rulings?
I don't know the total of it because in 1979 I was working for the Interstate Commerce in Iowa, and in 1980, of course, then I was transferred and moved down to Fort Worth, Texas, where the main office was. But to get involved at the time, no. But the big thing also at the time was brokers.
Okay, tell me more.
They really were coming into being then, because up until that time, did you know that brokers collected from a shipper? I remember that argument.
Brokers collected from the well. Now, how do you mean? What do you mean, and what different?
Because before that, brokers only collected from carriers.
Oh,
So this here, when I was in the office one day and they got this phone call and wanted to know if that was legal.
well, that's interesting. So that was okay. So you're saying in 1980, in addition to these changes,
Yep.
came the change where brokers could legally collect from a shipper rather than they could not.
They could do either one, but they made a decision that day that it was okay.
Wow, because I mean that literally changed the business
That
model
literally
as we know
changed.
it.
Because before that day,
Wow.
they could only collect from the carrier.
And they could only legally collect from the carrier?
Well, I don't know about the word legally, but they only collected from the carrier. And it sort of, they didn't know what to do when they got this phone call that this one broker collected it from a shipper. Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is now that and what do you think of that, Diane? That is interesting, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to figure out what the point of the broker is at that point.
What did the broker how did the broker
But I don't understand whether they brokered.
How did he get his money? Because prior to that date, everything was in a tariff.
right.
And 6% of whatever that rate was is what the broker got.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
the
they
carrier-
got that 6% because it was the same amount that household goods, if you sold your home, realtors got. They accepted the same 6%.
So you just
They
it was
brokered-
just
They
Yep.
brokered loads on behalf of the carriers and collected.
Yeah, but after 1980, and that's when all this happened during the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, that brokers now started collecting it from the shipper.
Gotcha. And then that's when the bond became relevant.
Yep.
and that's when the broker fees went up much higher than 6%.
I'm sure. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them. Oh,
so
yes.
sounds like
Oh, yes.
there's a lobbyist in here somewhere.
I'm sure.
Wow, that is amazing. And even real estate, same thing. I mean, to go from 6%, I mean, real estate agents, I mean, some get 6%, but not, I don't think
That's what
the
they
average.
accepted. That's the fee that they accepted at the time.
I wonder how much people were tipping in restaurants then.
I don't-
25 cents.
I'm sure it was
No.
more than 6%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's really, okay, that's the Motor Carrier Act of 1980.
Yes, sir.
And we didn't see another major shift in transportation law until, is it MAP 21?
2013.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Passed in 2012, though.
okay, so for 20 years and change, things stay the same. And prior to 1980, do we know how long things had been the way they were? In fact, it seems interesting that the ICC was so involved until 1980. Somebody must have been thinking, man, this has got to be changed. Maybe it was hard to change.
Well, the DOT thought the brokers ought to change because they didn't think the broker bond of 10,000 was enough, so they upped it to 75.
And that was MAP 21. Is that right?
Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah. I think so. Diane, you guys were talking about MAP 21 in
That's correct.
Okay, so in 2012, 2013, the $10,000 broker surety bond requirement went to 75,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody just joined in or in the last few minutes, and if you want to learn more about the intricacies of the surety bonds, the BMC 84 and the BMC 85 trust agreement, all you got to do is go to Auto Transport Intel, and when this show's over, go back to episode 83, PFA Transportation Insurance and Surety Services episode, and there is a lot of information there too. So you know what, there are other documents that you guys have that we haven't looked at yet, and I wonder if I can pull a few of those up here. And I want to thank you, Rex, for that. I like getting kind of a deep historical background and understanding of the time and the changes, because I think it helps add perspective and realize the severity of the regulations. Obviously it's no joke, and obviously that just made me think of ELD. That would be another recent major shift. What do you think of ELD, Rex?
I've never gotten involved in it.
But you've heard of it, you've read about it.
Not much.
Really?
No, I've been skiing.
You've been.
Good for you.
There are some jealous truckers out there tonight, I'll tell you. Let's go.
I'm out. There's no screen.
So, all right. So check this out now. So Rex,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you're seeing. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to. All right. Oh, how about this one? This is good. This will be fun. Rex, you're gonna see some of what Penny is presenting when she's talking. You may have already seen this. I'm sure you're going to recognize. So here we are, right? This is fun, Penny. We're putting you on the spot. This is great.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
This is easy. You guys you're practitioners.
Right. We've been doing this
right?
a long time.
Nothing's tougher than a courtroom. Is that right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, cool. So here we go. Looking to activate your authority, follow these steps.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Penny, owner of Evilsizor Associates. There we go. So now we're at 30 years. Now, founder of Miles of Training, that's your blog, right?
That's not the blog. That's an online platform where you can get some training.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
It's an online platform. Now, is that a separate website? Do you go to milesofttraining.com?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. And what's DOT Shield?
That's just a little program that we developed here. It's unique to Evilsizor. If you sign up for DOT Shield, it's just $25 a month, and we monitor your account to see if there's anything kind of strange that might trip you up.
Wow. Now, that's a good service. $25 a month just to monitor your account.
We look, we don't rely on a computer, database. We look at it with our own eyes. We'll look at the LNI, we'll look at the SAFER, we'll look at your SMS report, and we just kind of say, hey, here's what's out there right now. Just thought we would put it to the forefront of your mind. And if we see something that maybe their MCS 150 needs to be updated, we'll update that for free, and that's included in the DOT Shield. If you update your address, we'll do that. We'll take care of all those little minor nitty-gritty things, a part of that service.
Technical side note, if you're touching a microphone or anything near a microphone, we can hear that. I know like a lavalier, it could be a necklace, it could be anything. I know when I used to hook lavalier microphones up to folks, I'd have to listen to it for a half hour, like a necklace slapping the lavalier.
Might be me. Sorry.
So anyways, and that's okay. I'm just pointing it out. That way, we get that out of the way. Because as an audience member, you're like, oh, it's all I can hear. All right, so moving on. All right, cool. So that's really interesting. And now DOT Shield, is that a separate, did you say that's a separate site, DOT Shield?
Yes, it's dot-shield.com.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Because really, that's the thing is when you're providing education, it keeps going, and you can just keep building upon it.
It does. Yeah.
I agree with that. So what do we got here? All right, so you've applied for your authority, you've taken your first step, and then what's going on here? What are you talking about?
Your phones are ringing off the wall.
Oh, right, because
everybody gets the list. Everybody.
Right.
So be careful who you work with. Just try to keep it at a minimum. But you will receive an MC and a DOT number. They're two separate sides of the system. The LNI, what I call the LNI, which is this page right here, the licensing and insurance. That's pretty much just administrative. It's going to show your BOC. It's going to show your insurance. But your safety is on the SAFER system. And that's where your DOT number comes into play. Now, a few years ago, well, actually, 1997 or 1998, the Federal Motor Carrier has been trying to get rid of the MC number. Well, they have not been successful in merging these two systems. So I think we're in it for the long haul. keeping that MC number because they have increased it from 6 digits to 8. So that tells me it's going to be around a while still. So just remember, there's two sides to this puzzle. The MC side, this is the page where you're going to see the activity, the activation, and the basis of your authority. And then the safer side is just that. It's all about safety in your ratings.
And safer, is that an anagram? Does that stand for anything? Like Safety
Probably.
Administration and Federal?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, man. I told you I'd ask crazy questions.
I mean, it's government, so yes.
What's it, Rex? Do you got any insight into that? You got, do you
What
know?
does safer mean?
Safer?
No,
Maybe
Safety
it came.
Administration, federal regulations. I don't know.
Emergency. Maybe that came about in the 80s, too.
Maybe.
All right, so let's see, moving on here. So we're going to go to, okay, now this is safer. When you go to safersys dot, is it FM?
Safer, yeah, safer.fmcsa.dot.gov.
Okay, safer.fmcsa.dot.gov.
So this is where you can order your DOT pin and your docket pin. I recommend that you do both. We automatically take care of this for our authority clients. And just go ahead and bookmark this page, because if you scroll down, go ahead and move to the next page. This is like scrolling down. And these are the two main features. The company snapshot is going to show your DOT record, and the licensing and insurance is going to show your MC record. And so a lot of the other stuff in here you're not going to need. You might want to look at your portal. You can check your UCR form there. And then up at the far left.
By the way, did they update this site where they don't show the safety scores now? There was some kind of update.
Yeah, they're trying to change that.
Okay.
I don't think that comes into play till later this year.
Okay, so it's still what it was, but they're thinking of changing it. Okay.
Right.
Proposed. Right. Oh, so there's a proposed change that's got to go through the other proposal and the things. Yeah. Okay.
It takes a while.
It does. Everything takes forever.
Yeah.
Just like this show, listening to Jay takes forever. Okay. All right.
So just bookmark this page and just refer back to it and just click on the links and see what you can find out.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot. It's amazing how much is up here.
A lot.
It's public information.
It is.
Okay, so then you go, all right, so there's safer. Now you've talked about safer. Now hammer it again. Step 1, file your BOC-3. Bureau of Compliance, form number 3.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Very good.
All right, so.
And this is where you're going to find that.
And it says it on here.
Yeah. Normally, and if it's not filed, it'll just say no under BOC-3, and then there won't be anything under blanket company.
And that'd be bad.
This is what gets confusing is some people look at the blanket company and think we're the insurance company. Well, we're not. It's just the verbiage on this site. So if you see BOC-3, yes, the company underneath of that is who filed the BOC.
Right. Okay, right. That's the company that filed. And that would be is that a process server?
Yes.
I mean, I know you're a process server, but.
Yes, and we all have to be approved by the federal motor carrier with a list of agreements. I mean, we'll be sending in, 40, 50 agreements. That's notarized copies to get those agents on file.
Right. Okay. Okay, so there you go. So you got your BOC-3, step 2. Wait, then file your insurance.
Right. And I say this because it can save you $600 or more in premiums. There's no sense in filing the insurance right away.
Totally.
Because you can't use it for 3 weeks anyway, and there's no way to speed up that process. So, we try to tell people, let's wait. And also you want to wait to see if your authority application has been accepted. There are random selections to suspend an authority application to go through further vetting, which can cost you in excess of 8 weeks or more. So you don't want to put your insurance on file and pay for it now if you are suspended. So that's another thing we check on, and then we'll tell you when to file your insurance.
I do have to say something here because PFA's changed something within the last couple of years. We do not make our brokers' bonds effective with our company until the authority's made active, so that it's fair to our freight brokers, because there's no reason to have an active freight bond if they're not actively able to broker the load. So since the government puts them in that catch-22 of having a bond on file but not active yet, and people have an issue with paying for a bond when they're not active yet, pay for the bond, we'll file it electronically. Once the authority's made active, we make the coverage effective. And that's, if that takes 2 weeks, if it takes 2 months, the bond's on file, but coverage is not effective until the authority's made active.
That's awesome. That's why we use you guys.
Really like you guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
That is, you know, and that's actually, I was trying to think, like, I mean, well, I want to say, you know, not PFA not only protects, but is looking out for your best interest.
exactly.
That's really cool. That's all right. And that goes for, that's why I want to say this is that Penny and I, we were talking about, gosh, how are we going to round out the live panel tonight? And Diane, it just made sense to bring you on the show, have PFA on the show with Evilsizor. You guys work together all the time, and you're both sponsors of Auto Transport Intel. So this is great. It really is great. And Rex,
we've worked with PFA for close to 20 years.
Yeah,
We have a long relationship.
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
13, and I worked with Rex a little bit before he retired, and I absolutely adore working with Penny. She's a great
Thank you.
customer service based company that I would absolutely promote at any point.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But that is awesome, you guys. All right, so let's go. Okay, step 3, file your UCR annually. Okay, so who needs to file?
Yeah, it's all interstate. That's the key here. If you're intrastate only, then you don't have to file the UCR. But for everybody else, whether you're a private carrier, exempt, for hire, broker, freight forwarder, you need to file the UCR. And if you're a carrier, and for example, I had this happen, if you go through the state of Oklahoma and you don't have your UCR on file and you've been pulled over at the weigh station, they're going to look it up and they're going to charge you $400 penalty for not having it. So you have to file it on the spot, plus pay the state of Oklahoma $400. And Louisiana, their penalty is $500. So yeah, it's important to pay to get that UCR filed.
And does this then, going back into the discussion about interstate, a furtherance of interstate,
Yes.
does this get into that?
Yes.
Yes.
It does.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but this also includes private carriers and exempt carriers, which are not required to have an MC number. So a private carrier hauls their own goods, an exempt carrier might be a farm agriculture type thing.
Seems like, and even within ELD, it seems like most of the exemptions are agricultural. Which is why, oh man, okay. Hank Seaton, all right? You guys know Hank Seaton?
I don't believe
I know
so.
Diane does. And you would love hearing Hank Seaton talk. If you get a chance to hear him talk, he is an attorney and he works in transportation and he's in DC. I mean,
I've heard of him.
And and his law firm is Seaton and Husk. Okay. All right. And I got to hear him talk a week ago at the Auto Haulers Association of America. And he was talking about how it didn't really make sense to him how a guy that hauls pumpkins gets the hours of exemption of the ELD versus somebody working, maybe much harder, hauling, steel or cars or whatever. And again, that a guy that drives pumpkins. Anyways, it was just the best. All you could do is hear pumpkin driver. And so when I hear the exemptions, the point is that it gets real tricky if you try to figure out if you're exempt or if you're fitting, are you going to go through Oklahoma or Louisiana? Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Is kind of what we're talking about.
Yes.
and I know that's also tough, because if you are starting a business, you don't have the ability to just pay to be, safe than sorry, safer, sis than sorry. You don't have the money. But
Right.
which is why, what we're trying to do is, if you don't have the money, we'll try to offset that with education until your business is successful and you do have the money.
Right.
Because as you grow, you're going to want to just, like $25 just to have your company monitored. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is.
You just skip that Happy Meal once a month and you're there.
Okay.
Okay. Nobody says that. Nobody. All right. So, all right. So now, okay, we got your timeline again. This is in your kind of when you give this was a presentation set,
This
right?
was a webinar that I did the other day.
Okay, cool. So, which if somebody wants to have you present on their behalf and wants to set that up, it sounds to me like you're available. You kind of have a presentation you can do.
We do, yeah. Just give us a call and we'll be happy to counsel with you.
What's the number there? I'm going to just post it.
Yeah, it's 303-482-2965.
303-482-2965. And what's a good email address there?
Info, I-N-F-O, at evilsizor.co. Not com, but co. Again, server issues is why.
It's just info at evilsizor.co. And I'm saying some of this too because I know we're getting close to our time, and I don't want to just run out of time. We had some good comments too, but I was really interested. I didn't want to, if I look at the comments and read them, sometimes I lose my place. It's like reading and not putting in the bookmark. Yeah. So I didn't do that too. So if I missed your comment, I want to say this now. If we missed your comment, I apologize. And do me a favor, comment below this video. You can comment below, and then we'll try to get a response to you. What else do we have here? Oh, compliance programs.
Yeah, here's your compliance programs. We've partnered with the top companies in America that I have found. They all seem to be in Texas for some reason. Hours of Service, ELD, we've partnered with Fleet Shield, and they are out of Houston.
Michael Cook.
Yeah.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's been in my office.
Yeah, great.
And DQ Files is CDA Systems, Tom Hartman.
Oh, okay. Driver qualification files. This
gets sticky. You gotta have it.
Because when you've got, now do they check this on your audit, on your initial audit, right?
They sure may.
And then forever.
Yeah, especially if you're in an accident, the plaintiff's attorney is gonna come back and ask for the DQ file. And they're gonna wanna know you did everything in your power to put a safe driver on the road.
Wow, that brings us back around, doesn't it? And then is there just a bullet list of all the things that go in the file? Is that one of the
It's about a 25-page application.
Are you kidding me? 25?
Yeah,
well,
and even if you're a single owner, you need to have one. That doesn't.
And I've heard that too. Actually,
no one is exempt.
When I was putting together my 20 steps, I learned that even if you're an individual owner operator, you have to do these things. And I know, again, there's so many things, you got to buy tires and the insurance and the fuel, and you feel like you're out of time and you're out of money. But if you don't have your own driver qualification file, if you don't have your own drug consortium or right, you've got to have some kind of, you have to prove if the DOT officer asks for proof of drug testing, you have to supply that proof.
You do. Yeah, that's part of the DQ file. But also, the drug consortium is a separate program, and we refer down to Fort Worth, Texas, Fleet Screen. So we have Fleet Shield and we have Fleet Screen, and it's a tongue twister sometimes. But they're a great group of people down there. I met with them personally because my daughter goes to TCU, and I stayed like right next door to their company headquarters. So I called them up and said, hey, I'd love to come meet you. And come to find out, one of the owner's wife went to the same high school I did. So we have we knew a lot of the same people there in Fort Worth, which is common.
Because
so
in trucking, it's a family industry.
It is.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. When I was a band mom, I used to call the band directors band mafia. So this is the same thing here. It's trucking mafia.
The trucking mafia.
We're just one big family.
Of band moms. That sounds like somebody should sign up for that. They should name their trucking company that,
the band mom.
Trucking company of band moms. Yeah. It's memorable.
Right.
I know there's still, we looked at the timelines. We looked at your webinar. There's still a couple other documents. I'll tell you what, do you guys have a few more minutes and we'll look at a few more documents?
Yeah. Pull up that one.
I love this stuff. It's so interesting.
Safety.
You spent so much time on it too.
The one that looking at a glance. I thought I had a copy of it.
Let's see. I got everything right here. Let's see. DOT Audit Checklist.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So let's do. Okay. So first we're gonna do. Okay. There we go. We got a kind of a full screen deal, and then I'll zoom in as at need be. So what is this document?
This is a compilation of things that when I'm helping someone with their audit, this is what the audit looks like. So they're going to ask for all your drivers. They want a list of your drivers with their date of birth and their CDL license number. They're going to ask for maybe one MVR. Each auditor is different, so this may look different from one case to another, but on an average, this is what the auditor is asking for. So they have driver-related documents, which is just a list of drivers, a copy of their CDL or driver's license if they're not a CDL holder. They're going to ask for logbooks with supporting documents. Now that we have ELDs for trucks newer than the year 2000, they do ask for proof of their ELD company. That was something I noticed that was brand new a couple of months ago. It used to be just, show me your logbooks, but now they want to know what ELD company are you working with? And so that's new. Driver's MVR, that's your motor vehicle record to show anything that could, a ticket or whatever on your license. Medical certificate.
Yeah, right. That's
that's key.
Your medical card, I think, is step 1 on my 20 steps.
Yeah, that's okay.
If you can't get a medical card, you could skip the other 19.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we go into vehicle-related documents. They want a list of the vehicles with VIN numbers, their tag number, or their plate. They're going to ask for an annual inspection report, and if they're hazmat shipping, then they're going to ask for those papers as well. I typically don't really help those with hazmat. I have a team down in Texas out of Decatur that I would refer them to, or Tom Hartman with CDF systems.
Right.
And then just carrier related documents, like they're going to ask for proof of insurance, but it's not just your certificate of insurance. They want the MCS 90. They're very specific on that. So don't try to give them something else when that's not what they asked for, because you'll fail the audit for that one little thing. They're going to ask for your drug and alcohol program, and they're going to ask for a driver random drug test, and it better be negative. If it's positive, then that carrier shouldn't, or that driver shouldn't be even employed. And then an accident register for the last 3 years. A lot of times the accident register is just, I have a form that I fill out and I just put no accidents. But if there was an accident in the last 3 years, you have to list that. And then you upload all of this information into the portal, or, depending on the state, some states will allow you to email it in or fax it in. I like to upload it into the portal, and then I take a snapshot of the portal of what I've uploaded just as proof, because I had one incident where I know I uploaded it and it disappeared. And so I like to make a snapshot, just like, here's what's there. So if there's any question, then I have proof.
This is a really good, clean form, so you can just see it. Driver related, vehicle related, care related, bullet list. This is great because I know I have talked, I can think of the early days when I was starting dispatching and I'm hearing about DOT safety audits. What is that? Right? What do you got to do? What's involved? What's included? And unfortunately, if you don't know until the audit, that's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and I had a gal, she just gave me all these excuses. And I'm like, oh, please don't tell the auditor all of your excuses
Oh, my goodness.
to why you can't do this. Don't go there. They've heard it all.
So anyways, last Thursday I was at Billy Bob's and we went over.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure Rex is thinking through all the excuses he's been through.
Yeah. Don't go the excuse route. Just say yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'll get that for you.
Hey, there was a really good in the DOT segment at the Auto Haulers Association of America meeting. They were talking. There was a video. Somebody made a video. It's on YouTube. I need to find it. And it's a guy, and he gets pulled over, and they're going through, what you do and what you don't do. And one of the things was as simple as just answer the questions and don't make any stories.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. No excuses.
Don't do that.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
That's right.
Let's do this. Okay, so we got our DOT audit checklist, and I know you had a couple more here. And I think we just saw this at the end of your webinar, right? This just helps you put together your permit book.
Go to Walmart and buy a 3-ring binder and some sheet protectors and start putting your documentation in there.
That's a great idea.
Also, I'm kind of old school with this, but you can keep it on your phone. But if your phone's dead and you're at the port of entry trying to show somebody, well, it's in there, but it's dead. Have a booklet, just an old timey 3-ring binder. You're a professional driver, so make sure it's clean and it's, it looks good, and keep a copy in the office.
And keep a copy in the office. This is definitely, I've seen an app where you can maintain and manage, but I think we all know that in a world where we still have physical objects and people, that it's good to have a copy. I like that idea of just the laminated pockets, put them in there, have that in the truck, have a copy in the office. You can do it.
It's easy. Yeah. It's just getting organized. It's a Saturday, weekend warrior kind of thing, And
then it feels good. And then you're up late, you're having your glass of wine, you're flipping through how organized you are.
Exactly. You can feel good about it.
I know. It feels good. It's awesome.
I had a guy come in the other day. I've been helping him with his authority. And he brought the checklist, and we went down one item by item and made sure he had everything.
Awesome.
And it was cool. I love doing that.
Yeah, and I'm sure he felt great when he left.
He knew.
It's like when you leave the accountant's office and your taxes are done, and man, it's just great.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what this checklist is for. It's something I developed like 20 years ago.
It's really
25 years ago. And it really hasn't changed a whole lot, except the graphic. My daughter, Melanie, created this one for me. And, it's just simple. It just shows you what you need to get going.
Yeah, it's really good. I think we've got one more. These are so good. And these are all free on your site.
Yeah, I want people to be organized and know what's going on.
You just go to Evil. Here, I'm going to share the link. Can I do this? This is crazy, right? Absolutely. By the way, since we're giving stuff away, if you file for your motor carrier, if you file for your broker, and you do this online at Evilsizor, and on your website, you can type in coupon code
ATI 25.
ATI 25.
You get $25 off.
ATI, that is so cool. And I know my audience really appreciates that. Thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
And that is a gift, and every little bit counts.
Does.
I know I like $25.
Sure.
So ATI 25, get $25 off. And again, that's online. And so here you got a link to the free downloads. And if you, and I'll put the link, I'll also put the link in the coupon code in the description below this video. But if anybody has any questions, obviously you got the phone number for Evilsizor, the email for Evilsizor. And I want to do this right now. Diane, if anybody wants to contact PFA, what's the main number there?
800-595-2615.
And the difference is, whereas we're talking to Evilsizor for filing for motor carrier or filing for broker authority or filing for BOC-3 or looking at the checklist of an audit, at PFA, Transportation Insurance and Surety Services, we're talking about filing your BMC 84, that's your surety bond for freight brokers, or BMC 85, which is your trust agreement for freight brokers. And then also you have contingency, cargo.
Contingency auto, freight broker auto, general liability. All the freight broker insurance requirements can be met through our office.
And that's why, I mean, between the two of your groups, there's not much left out.
And we connect all of our clients that apply for broker with Diane. That's one of our automated emails that goes out just to connect, so if you forget, you don't have to worry. We got it covered. We'll connect you with Diane.
I'll call you.
Yes. And you do. You're very faithful.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Doesn't this feel good, Rex, to see that you're seeing what you've built? And now it's interacting live on YouTube. Isn't this great, man?
I've enjoyed being here tonight, but yes, I would always recommend Diane and her company because of things that happened in the past. People would go out of their broker business and would not be able to get anything back from their broker bond. I've seen too many brokers cheated, and yes, I would definitely go with Diane. 100%.
I'm going to say this too right now, Diane, is that if you go to, I was looking at, if you go to pfaprotects.com, and in this About section, you can click on PFA TV, and there are 8 videos up here. I watched all of them. It's like 30 minutes of solid video advice. Between pfaprotects.com and Evilsizor.com, there is so much free information. And if you haven't had enough, then you head on over to Auto Transport Intel YouTube channel, and I'll load you up with videos. We'll just keep going. So I mean, and that's what's so great is that I love that here we are, the 3 of us. Actually, well, there's 4 of us, but we have 3 companies between the 4 of us that we are just here to just load you up with trucking information. I know I'm focused on car hauling, and Diane, it seems like PFA really focuses on the freight side. The broker side, right? Correct. And because when you say freight, you mean everything. Freight, cars.
FAK. All of them.
Right. Okay. And then at Evilsizor, when you're setting up your company, this is where it's great. And I mean, I really appreciate all the information and you guys taking the time. And let's do this. I'm going to stop sharing that. That's enough, Jay. We've seen your site. We know who you are. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight.
Thank you, Jay.
This is This is really great. And you know what? Thank you guys again for your channel sponsorship. It means a lot. I think it means a lot to folks in the community to see that you are on the ground. You're able to help contribute to something new, right? So I mean, this is a new form of the message. It's the same message. There's new information and there's a new way to deliver it. And I'm excited because when I was at the Auto Haulers Association of America and talking, is that we know that there's even more changes coming, and with the way social media really has developed, it hasn't quite hit our industry like some of the other industries. It's just, pervaded, but it helps. And I think with ELD, seems like ELD is that technology tipping point.
Mm-hmm. It still has a ways to go, I think, but we're getting there.
That's true. That's true. Well, if you really want to talk about new technology, and this is just an ending thought for everyone, this is your bedtime story, is that all of the driverless automation technology is just, actually, I don't think that's a bedtime story. I think that'll keep you up.
That's a horror story.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Jay? So...
No, we're not there.
Yeah, we're not. No, we're not there.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the good news. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, sometimes we think, oh, well, but back in the good old days, during the, golden age of television, we still get to enjoy that for a little while. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's got a long ways to go.
Yeah. We get to enjoy ourselves. So enjoy yourself. Get out there. Know what you need to know. You have the tools. There's free information. Get business done right so you can sleep easy and build your business, live the American dream.
Absolutely.
Right? Heavy props there. That's a mic drop. So listen, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Thank you, Rex.
Appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate
Nice seeing
it.
you guys. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, you guys. And here I go and I end the meeting. There it is. So let me do this. I know you guys can still hear me, and I'm going to okay, there we go. And let me change this microphone back. I mean, not the microphone, the video. And by the way, I know we're over on time, so I'm just going to wrap it up. I am going to say this, is that you guys know that Auto Transport Intel is here every Tuesday night. The purpose is to continue. This is just continuing the education of what is helping folks set up their business, build their business, improve business, follow the trends, find out what's new in technology, whether you're a carrier, a broker, a dispatcher, a shipper, or a lead generator, that this is the car hauling business channel. This is where it's your new home. This is your new Tuesday night home. And if your friends don't know about it, send them the link, send them an email. I'm going to try and continue sending emails on Tuesdays. If you weren't on that email list, please do send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. If you're interested in being a future channel sponsor, or you want to have a company interview, you've seen what we do here, please let me know, autotransportintel@gmail.com. If you've got a question and you just didn't get an answer, you still have a question, I'm going to post in the description below the video, there'll be information. That'll happen, and I'll get that finished here in a couple days. I try to really fill it with information. Or you can ask a question, just put it in the comments below, ask a question. I'll try to make sure the right person answers it in case I'm not the right person. I really do try to rely on experts. You see that about my show. I've got questions. We've all got questions. I'm the guy in class that raises his hand and asks the stupid question. I'll just go ahead and do it. So I appreciate everybody staying up with me. This is Tuesday Nights Live on Auto Transport Intel. And as I say, learn car shipping, watch Auto Transport Intel, the car hauling business channel. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I will see you guys soon. Peace out.